The best camera for beginners has several jobs to do. Obviously it has to be easy to pick up and use, even for a novice, but it has to have some real depth and staying power, so that as you learn more about photography, the camera has all the controls and features you need to develop your skills. If you take selfies, or you are into vlogging, you'd be best off taking a look at our rundown of the best cameras for selfies. If you've got children, read our list of best cameras for kids, where we highlight fun, price, toughness, and staying power for more advanced young photographers. One of the cheapest and most intuitive ways to get into photography is to go analog with one of the best instant cameras on the market. Do you want a camera just for stills, or video too? If you want to try your hand at vlogging, mirrorless cameras are your best bet because they usually have faster autofocus in live view, using the screen. Flip-over LCD screens are also a must in the best cameras for vlogging, as this allows you to see exactly what you're recording as you present to the camera. One more thing, most of these cameras are even cheaper if you buy them body only, but that only makes sense if you already have lenses, as buying them separately is much more expensive. We always recommend getting beginner cameras with kit lenses, and if there's one in particular we think is better than the rest, we'll say so. So now we've given you a few things to think about. Take a look at our list of the best cameras for beginners in 2019. This isn't the cheapest DSLR you can buy by any means, but very often it's worth paying a little extra money to get a much better range of features, and this is the perfect example. The EOS Rebel SL3, aka EOS 250D, has Canon's top-of-the-range APS-C sensor with 24.1 MP of resolution and brilliant live view shooting, thanks to a fully articulating touchscreen display and Canon's fast dual-pixel CMOS AF autofocus. In fact, we'd actually say this is one of the only DSLRs where composing shots with the screen is downright preferable to using the viewfinder. Canon also packs in 4K video and Wi-Fi and NFC connectivity, wrapped up in the smallest DSLR body you'll ever see. If you're worried about DSLRs being complicated, don't be. The Nikon D3500 has a brilliant guide shooting mode that acts as a fully interactive guide to photography and camera settings, delivered via the rear LCD screen. The D3500's controls are straightforward and easy to get to grips with. But, compared with some competing DSLRs, though it does strip back on some more advanced features. For example, there's no custom settings menu for tailoring camera functions to your preferences, as featured on every other series of Nikon DSLRs. The autofocus in live view and movie capture modes is also sluggish, though the Nikon AF-PDX 18-55mm f/3.5-5.6 GVR lens speeds it up and is the best kit lens to go for. Overall, the Nikon D3500's image quality and performance are extremely good for the price, and the 5 frames per second burst rate is pretty sporty for an entry-level DSLR. Take a look at the many other great Nikon lenses that this DSLR system allows you to use. If you've been shopping around for a while, you'll have discovered it's not so easy to find a mirrorless camera with a viewfinder at an affordable price for novices, and this is why we love the XT100. It's compact, lightweight and simple to use, yet features a high-resolution electronic viewfinder and a tilting touchscreen, and all at a very attractive price. There are some limitations. The XT100 uses a regular CMOS sensor rather than Fujifilm's more advanced X-Trans design, but more seriously its 4K video capture is limited to 15 frames per second, so don't get this camera for shooting 4K, 1080 video is fine. Paired with the dinky little Fujinon XC15 to 45mm f/3.5-5.60 ISPZ lens, the XT100 makes a great value camera kit that's a particularly good traveling companion, whether you're trekking into the hills or flying to the other side of the world. Available in black or silver, this mirrorless camera has a classic yesteryear look and feel, harking back to Olympus OM film cameras that launched in the 1970s. The EM10 Mark III is the least expensive and most beginner-friendly model in the current OMD range. Even so, it shoehorns some fab features into its diminutive and beautifully crafted body, including a high-resolution electronic viewfinder and high-res tilting touchscreen. The built-in 5-axis image stabilization works with any attached lens, and the 14 to 42mm EZ-Kit zoom lens is a joy to use. It's a compact pancake design and its power zoom facility is great for movie capture. Speaking of which, the camera can shoot 4K UHD movies and rapid bursts of stills at up to 8.6 frames per second. However, while the Micro Four Thirds format enables camera bodies and lenses to be unusually compact, megapixel counts are often less than generous. This camera's 16.1 MP image sensor is a prime example. Nevertheless, the price, size and features make this a great camera for beginners, especially if you're into blogging, vlogging, and 4K video. Although it's now 5 years old, the A6000 is still one of Sony's best entry-level cameras. Sony is still making them, so it's not going to disappear anytime soon. Moreover, it significantly undercuts the newer A6400 and A6500 models for price. With its APS-C format compact camera styling, and access to Sony's range of interchangeable lenses, it's a small body that packs a big punch. Resolution from the 24.3 MP image sensor is very good, though the 1,440K dot resolution of the electronic viewfinder is a little weak by today's standards, and the 921K dot tilting screen feels quite cramped too. It lacks the ability to record 4K movies, but the solid build quality, image quality, continuous shooting, and autofocus performance are better than you'd ever expect from its price point. It's more for advanced beginners and enthusiasts for outright novice, but a serious bargain right now. Nobody wants to buy an expensive camera only to discover that photography's not for them. You can limit the risk with this remarkably cheap DSLR and kit EFS 18 to 55mm f/3.5-5.63 lens. It's well suited to beginners, with the same intelligent full auto shooting mode and feature guide as you'll find in pricier Canon cameras. The quick menu is typically intuitive, and there are plenty of scene modes as well as more advanced shooting modes. There's also a creative auto mode to help you progress from basic zone to creative zone modes. The 18MP image sensor is a little lacking in megapixels compared with most current DSLRs, and there are more serious cutbacks in other areas. We wouldn't expect a touch screen at this price, but the rear LCD is disappointingly small and low in pixel count. Ultimately, it's a very basic camera but a sensible bargain basement buy if you just want to dip your toe in the photographic water. The D5600 is a pretty expensive buy for absolute beginners, and it lacks the D3500's interactive guide shooting mode, but it's still easy to use with full auto, scene, and effects modes, and plenty of manual exposure control too. The 39-point AF system covers the frame better than the D3500, which makes it even better for following moving subjects and for more precise control in general. But for many people the single key advantage over the cheaper D3500 will be the 3.2 and vari-angle touchscreen display, which is also a little bigger than most others. The live view autofocus isn't as accomplished as on the Canon Rebel SL3 or any of the compact system cameras here, particularly for video, but the overall performance is still excellent, and lens options are plentiful. The D5600 is a good choice if you're ready to try out more advanced techniques. We recommend getting it with Nikon's retracting AFP 18 to 55mm VR kit lens. The diminutive GX80 can be adapted to the needs of any user, from the beginner that just wants to rely on the leave it to the camera intelligent auto option, to the photographer that wants complete control over all exposure settings like shutter speed and aperture. You also get 4K video recording capability and Panasonic Speed DFD, depth for defocus, autofocus system. The built-in electronic viewfinder makes it a great option for using in harsh sunlight or darker conditions, while the tilting screen makes it easy to shoot from ground level. Together with Panasonic's tiny micro 4/3 lenses, this makes it a great choice for traveling or holidays. Try to get it with the retracting 12 to 32mm pancake lens. This combination is not a whole lot bigger than a compact point-and-shoot camera. We like the Fujifilm X-A5 for its gorgeous retro-styled compact mirrorless design, with flip-up and over screen for selfies and vlogging, and a very good 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor. The X-A5 has a faster and more sophisticated phase detection autofocus system than its predecessor, the X-A3, and it also shoots 4K video, though only at 15 frames a second, so that hardly counts. We especially like Fujifilm's rather good retracting 15 to 45mm kit lens, though it's electrically powered and can be a bit slugging when zooming. Overall, the Fujifilm X-A5 is ideal for anyone looking for their first proper camera, with a dash of style and enough control to help them learn about photography, and who won't mind the lack of a viewfinder. We'll be honest straight off and say this is not our favorite mirrorless camera. The body is a little slippery and hard to hold, there's no viewfinder, and the controls have been made so simple that there's not even a regular mode dial. You can make all the manual adjustments possible with other beginner cameras, but you have to spend a lot more time in the camera's digital interface to do it. But that's enough of the negatives, because the EOS M100 isn't just Canon's cheapest mirrorless EOS M models, it's one of the cheapest cameras for beginners, full stop. If you want to start taking proper high-quality pictures with the option of moving on to some different lenses in the future, but you find other cameras a little too daunting, the EOS M100 stripped-back approach will suit you fine. The 15 to 45mm retracting kit lens is compact, the 24-megapixel sensor delivers sharp, detailed images, and Canon's dual-pixel CMOS AF autofocus system is pretty snappy too.